Let me give you all a quick backstory. I was about 13 when this took place. At the time, my friend, who was more like a big sister to me, moved into my house to kind of practice leaving the nest. I will refer to her as my sister throughout. Being an only child, I was ecstatic to have a sibling actually live with me. This happiness was pretty short-lived because with her came an unwelcome guest. The first time this guest made an appearance was about a month after she moved in. My sister, one of my friends, and I were swimming in my backyard at night. We were the only ones home. From the pool, you could see my whole kitchen through the glass patio doors. We were just chilling when my sister asked us if we could see someone in the kitchen. I turned to look and there's a figure slowly walking in circles around the kitchen island. I'm a firm believer in ignoring things till they go away, so I turned around, ignoring the chill that went up my spine, and started to try and calm my friend down. She wasn't and still isn't used to paranormal stuff, so she was panicking pretty badly. Before I looked away, I noticed a figure looking like a skinny male with longish black hair, wearing all white. We just kind of moved on until my sister and my friend decided to pull a mean prank on me, resulting in us getting out of the pool and leaving a bit of anger between us. One thing I learned while my sister lived with us is that the thing fed on anger and bad energy, which is what probably caused my second encounter with him in the same night. After getting out of the pool and showering, we were sitting in my living room that's attached to the kitchen, deciding what to do now because our mood was a bit ruined. This is when I get up and go to get water from the fridge, which is only about 15 steps from the living room couch. Looking back on it, not the smartest thing to do, after what had just happened like an hour before. I was filling up my cup when I felt like someone was standing right behind me, like way too close behind me. The fridge was a shiny metal, where it was reflective but the reflections were blurry, and more blurred the farther you are from it. Looking at the fridge, I saw what was clearly a blurry reflection of someone directly behind me. Thinking it was just my friend trying to scare me, I quickly turned around while loosely swinging my arm to surprise ninja attack her. But when my arm connected with nothing, and I saw my friend on the couch still, my blood ran cold. For half a second, I stood there with my arm out, frozen in fear and trying to process what the hell just happened. I ran so fast back to the couch to ask if either of them noticed what had just happened, and of course, neither of them did. We ended up sleeping in the same room that night. A month goes by with small incidents here and there, including a cup somehow getting thrown down the stairs, but we mainly just ignored anything that happened. This brings me to the last time I ever actually saw the man, and the first time I saw his face. My sister and I were hanging out in the room, her on the couch, with me being a random 13-year-old sitting on the floor. What happened next took place in about 3 seconds. Out of seemingly nowhere, this white and black figure crawls up to me incredibly fast on its hands and knees, getting all over my face. He gets close to me and I'm able to see his face fully covered by his black, greasy hair. It was pale white, almost greyish, and his face was a bit sunken in. I can still see it so clear in my head, even 9 years later. Having something so quickly thrown into my face made me audibly yelp and jump onto the couch. Looking down, nothing was there, and my sister was confused as to why I had jumped like that. I was so certain that she had to have seen what just happened, but nope. I was again unfortunate enough to be the only one to see it. I'm almost certain I was the only one who physically saw him besides that first night with the kitchen island. My sister would usually only hear noises or notice something was somewhere it wasn't before. The whole thing freaked me out, more than any other paranormal experience I've had. A few months later, she moved back in with her family, and he left with her. I don't post too often on Reddit, and I'm not even sure, compared to these other stories, that mine will be creepy enough, but here goes. I was either 9 or 10, and we lived in this house until I was about 16. It was an extremely old house when my parents bought it. It was 115 years old, and we were only the third family ever to live in it. The old couple that lived there before didn't seem too eager to get out, considering their long history there, but they did seem to have a strange vibe about them. To give some more context, this house was a Victorian-era mansion, segmented into 7 different 3-story houses, so in our house there was only 3 bedrooms. My bedroom was the smallest room on the top floor at the end of the hallway. It was a box room, for the help, I'm assuming. The attic door was in my bedroom, so no one could go in or out. Although it was old, the people who sold it to us renovated the property and refreshed it so it felt brand new. My mother had told me I would sleepwalk in that house. I would walk down the hall into their room and say things like, "Don't you see I'm busy? Go away," and "Flora wants to read with us." They were creeped out, but they assumed that it was just sleepwalking. However, it was never an issue before or after this house. Take from that what you will. In my room, I was lying in my bed, and I heard 6 loud bangs in the attic. They were slow and vindictive, taunting me right above my head. My first time hearing it, I was so freaked out, I ran all the way to my parents' room, tripping down half of the stairs. My parents convinced me it was probably an animal, or just me being paranoid, since we lived in such an old house. My second time hearing it, I went to my twin brother's room and slept in his bunk bed. I wouldn't sleep in my room anymore. One day, I had a couple girlfriends over, and I was telling them about these 6 bangs in the attic, and literally, as I was talking about it, it happened. I remember shouting, "See?" because no one ever believed me. They were petrified, and one of them even went home right after from fright, but my parents still didn't believe me. This happened over the course of a few years, but only 3 times. Other weird things happened too, but they weren't as significant as this was. When we were moving out of the house, weird shit started happening. Doors would slam shut when we moved our things out of a room. One door slammed shut so hard, the boxes fell over, and our dog was constantly barking and whimpering. I always wondered why it got more intense when we were moving, but I think it was a final good riddance to our family. I still live in my hometown, and other people live in the house now, I think. I always drive by the house, and an older man sits in a chair on the lawn late at night. I always wanted to ask him if he sees anything, but I didn't want to creep him out if nothing happens anymore. I was talking to my dad the other day, who is a realtor, and he said that he has had that listing for years, and nobody will buy it. Thanks for watching tonight's episode of Spooky Season. I hope you enjoyed watching or listening to it as much as we did making it. If you liked it, leave a like rating down below and subscribe for future content. See you next time, and sweet dreams.